Been made for the Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital to be brought back into public ownership. The Green Party's deputy leader, Norwich councillor Adrian Ramsey, will make the call at the party's conference tomorrow. He'll highlight a recent report from the University of East Anglia economist Chris Edwards, which claimed leasing the hospital from private company Octagon Healthcare is actually costing the taxpayer an extra £19 million a year.
A soldier attached to the Norfolk-based Light Dragoons who was killed in Afghanistan on Wednesday has today been named by the Ministry of Defence. Lance Corporal Richard Brandon of the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers died in an explosion in Helmand province. His commanding officer described the 24-year-old as a devoted and determined soldier. Well, next tonight, what's in a name? Well, in the case of Born in Cambridgeshire, the name, quite frankly, says it all.
Not only is it home to a fertility clinic, it's had something of a baby boom. So much so that it now boasts one of the highest birth rates in the world. Claire McGlasson has this report.
It's a big day for 7-week-old Oliver. His first time at a mother and baby group. But he's got plenty of new friends to choose from. 210 babies have been born in the parish of Bourne within a year.
This corner of Cambridgeshire is enjoying a baby boom. It now has one of the highest birth rates in the world.
There really are babies everywhere in Cambourne. The Baby and Me group, just one of the sessions being held today.
It seems to be, it's something in the water.
I just love babies. I just love them so much, so I just couldn't, and I got 2 girls, so I thought, oh, I'd love to try and have a boy.
It makes it easier, being a new mum, to be somewhere where there are lots of other new mums.
The parish boasts 24.1 births per 1,000 people, nearly double the national average of 12.8. In fact, no country in the Western world has a higher fertility rate. It even tops countries like China, Brazil and India. With only one pub in Cambourne, some joke that it's the lack of nightlife that's to blame. The real reason remains a mystery. The fact that the famous Bourne Hall Fertility Clinic is in the parish, apparently just a coincidence. The majority of this population needs no help in that department. But so many bouncing babies is putting a strain on health resources in this rural region, and it's forced the county council to open a new primary school to meet demand. Jevons Wood opened yesterday in a temporary building after the 2 other primaries filled to capacity in just 5 years.
Well, I've heard all the stories about it's in the water or the air conditioning. Of course, that's not true at all. For young families, it's a fantastic place to be. There's lots of space, there are lots of parks, there are lots of other young children around. So, of course, you're going to attract people with young families.
Business is certainly booming for some. Cambourne's childminders. Now so many, they hold their own Friday playgroup.
When I first moved to Cambourne, because I've been childminding for about 8 years, I was the only one, I think, or there was maybe one other, and it's gone up to about 25.
This tiny town is still a baby itself. The very first houses built here just 10 years ago. Now it's famous for its fertility, perhaps Cambourne should be renamed Prambourne. The next generation is already putting in some practice. Claire McGlasson, Anglia News, Cambourne in Cambridgeshire.
Now, it wasn't going to be like this all of the time. I was going to say hello to all the adults in Cambourne, but I think they might be a bit busy.
I think they're a bit outnumbered, to be honest. I think I've never seen so many babies so well behaved.
Right, it's a 6:15. At 6:30, we're going to hand you over to London for the ITV National News.
But before that, lots more to come from us.
Battle over the beauty queens. Shani May was sacked over claims she swore near children. She says it's just not true, and it's not fair her rival Joanna's got the job.
And you might not think it was beach weather today, but that didn't stop these brave souls having fun in Southend. But despite the wind, it does look like we'll be seeing the return of summer next week. I'll be back later with all the details.
More news now from Suffolk, Essex and Norfolk, and parents in a Norfolk village have been demonstrating against the lack of free transport to take their children to school. Parents and children walked from Horning to Broadland High in Houghton this morning. Government guidelines say children living within 3 miles of a school with a safe walking route must pay to use the bus. Norfolk County Council says it has to stick to the guidelines to be fair to everyone. But not all families in Horning qualify for free travel, and parents are concerned about the safety of the route.
A lot of the makeup of the village is our affordable housing is within the 3-mile limit. Therefore, the people who can least afford to pay but fall outside of the benefit system are struggling to have to find the money to pay for the school transport, whereas the other makeup of the village, where the people can afford to pay and are outside the 3-mile limit, get the bus pass for free.
Police have cordoned off a car park in Lowestoft after a teenage girl claimed she'd been sexually assaulted. The 17-year-old approached officers saying she'd been assaulted behind shops on London Road North after leaving a pub in the town with a man. Her alleged attacker was in his late teens or early 20s and was wearing a navy blue short-sleeved V-neck top and blue jeans.
Suffolk police are renewing their appeal for information about a missing man from Brandon. 59-year-old Neil Parnell left his home in Mile End on Monday the 10th of August. He hasn't been seen since. It's believed he's travelled to the Great Yarmouth area, and further inquiries to locate him are being carried out there.
People living in the region are being asked for their views on new housing developments over the next 20 years. Up to 500,000 new homes are being planned. Details will be published next year, setting out how many new homes are proposed for each county. The East of England Regional Assembly has launched the consultation process as part of a planning review.
A special memorial is being made by stonemasons in Norfolk to honour British soldiers killed during the conflict in Cyprus 50 years ago.
The names of 371 British soldiers killed in the final years before the island's independence have been carved by the masons at H.L. Perfit in Diss.
At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
A special service to honour members of the Royal Norfolk Regiment who died in conflict during the final years of British rule in Cyprus. Among the names is that of Peter Elliott, just 20 years old when he was killed in Cyprus in 1956 while serving with the Norfolks. Earlier this week, his brother John paid his own personal tribute, painting Peter's name into the granite memorial. Unlike those who die on active service today, the bodies weren't brought back to England. They were buried on foreign soil.
Peter was always the lively one of the family, very, very cheeky chappy. And we got, in those days, you got a telegram from the post office. You didn't, the army didn't, MOD didn't come and speak to you. You got this telegram, and that was a dreadful day for my whole family. The pictures were sent to us from Cyprus by the MOD, and we were very grateful for that, because that was telling us exactly what happened.
The memorial honours soldiers from 46 units, including the Essex Regiment and the Suffolks. The stonemasons say it's been built to last 1,000 years. For them, it's been a difficult and time-consuming commission.
It's quite moving, really, when you read the 18-year-olds that were killed. You know, they're national servicemen, they didn't have a choice, and I think tend to be a bit forgotten. There was no repatriation, they were buried abroad, and it's really nice to be part of a project to remember them.
God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The memorial will now be shipped off to Cyprus. It will be officially unveiled in Kyrenia on Remembrance Day.
Amen.